I want to go home, I tell Maddie as we sit at the table in the study room where she is helping me with my essay. Well, we can't, she says in her scolding voice. I will never write as well as you do, I tell her. Besides, Miss Weston yells at me. When I see the look in Maddie's eyes, I know I should not have said that. She likes Miss Weston. Weston doesn't yell at anyone, she snaps. If you could write about something that made sense, you would find it easier. Maddie does not like my essay. Neither did Miss Weston. I wrote about living in the sky and how the sun and the moon were my father and mother and the stars were my sisters and brothers. The sky was an endless sea of blue like the river that flows behind our house. My father was the setting sun and my mother a harvest moon, and so they looked more alike than different, and they could always be seen at the same time. We star children would sit on the clouds and listen to our mother tell stories and watch our father fish in the sky river. Maddie said I had it all wrong, that if I was going to write about the sky and the moon should be our grandmother and the sun our eldest brother. I tried to tell her it was my story and that I could tell it any way I wanted to, but she just kept saying it made no sense. Miss Weston just said it had no ending and that I could do better. I liked it even if I had no ending, even if I had many words spelled wrong. It is too hard, I tell my sister, who writes better than I do, who spells better than I do. It's not too hard, she says, if you try. I think I try all the time. I will never be as good in school as Maddie. I stare at the paper smudged where Maddie has corrected some of my spelling, and I think that Miss Weston is right. It is not a very good story, it is not real, and besides, I do not want to live in the sky. I want to go home and live with my mother and father and all my sisters and brothers in our home by the river. But they are not there. Not my brothers and sisters who are scattered in schools and places far, far away from home. Not my brothers and sisters who came and left our mother and father and lie buried in the ground by the river. Do you like it here? I ask Maddie as she slides my paper back to me. It doesn't matter what we like, she says. I pretend I am writing on my paper so that Maddie will not see the tears I am trying to keep inside my eyes, because if she sees me cry, she will be angry again. Maddie. I told Sarah if she cried again, one more time, over anything, I would smack her. And I would. She thinks she is the only one who is homesick, the only one who misses family, the only one who longs for our father and mother and sisters and brothers and childhood friends. She is too big to cry. Childhood is over. Sarah. I will not cry. I will not cry. I will not cry. Maddie. Hurry, Gracie says. You will be late again, she adds just before she disappears into the hall. I'm trying, I tell her empty space as I tie my shoes as quickly as my fingers will work with the laces. I can't be late again, not again. It's hard to wake up in the morning when, in the early hours before dawn, I have just begun to sleep. It's even hard to wake up when the morning bell ringing over and over sounds like a distant echo in my head. It's even hard to wake up when Sarah, poking my side with her finger, warns me I will be in trouble, again. So by the time my eyes are willing to wake and my body agrees to ease out of bed, I cannot wash and dress fast enough not to be late. I hope it is Miss Prentice and not Mrs. Dwyer who watches as we march off to our morning meal. Miss Prentice tries to scowl like Mrs. Dwyer, especially if dour Mrs. Dwyer is in the room, but if I am late, she will turn her head and pretend she does not see me as I slip into the line behind Gracie. My shoes tied, I spring from my bed and flee out the door into the hall just as the girls at the front of the line begin marching out the door past Miss Prentice. Safe. Sarah. The days go by so slowly, and they are always the same, an emptiness full of work and lessons and longing for home. Maddie says I should make friends, that I would not miss home so much if I had a friend. She is wrong. I would miss our home even if I had a friend. Maddie has Gracie, and so now she likes being here. I hope she has forgotten her home. I wonder if I will ever see my home again. One of the older girls, Ida, who bragged that when she first came here to the Carlisle Indian School, her ride on the train was the longest one anyone had ever taken, that she had traveled through mountains so tall they pierced the sky and land so flat that the sun seemed to stay forever, and she has never been home. Ida says this is her home now. She says she has been here at school since she was 10 years old, and now she's older than Maddie, and very tall, and scowls so much I think she has been here as long as Mrs. Dwyer. Most of the bigger girls have rooms on the first floor, and I wonder why Ida does not have her bed there. I wonder if the older, bigger girls are her friends. I wonder if you can live at a school as long as Ida has and have no friends. I will try to make friends, but I do not think Ida will be one of them. I will try to be good so Father will be proud of me. I will try not to cry so Maddie will not be angry with me. But this will never be my home. Maddie. For the first time, I noticed the words written high on the wall above the chalkboard. Labor conquers all things. Perhaps it is because Miss Weston has just taught us a new word, conquer. She wrote it in large letters on the chalkboard and then used her pointing stick to show us it was the same word as the one on the wall. And then she said, Labor conquers all things, as the sound of Mrs. Dwyer's voice saying those same words soon after we arrived rang in my head. She had stood in the doorway of the room where we sleep after we had dressed for the day. We stood in a line at the foot of our beds as she, one by one, stood before us and told us where we would report for our work. Now Miss Weston stands in the front of the room and says the same words, and I push the image quickly from my head because I cannot bear to put Miss Weston and Mrs. Dwyer in the same thought. Sarah. Come look, I called to Ruthie, who sits on the edge of her bed pretending to read. Her bed is next to mine, and I would like to be her friend, but I do not think she wants to be mine because she never tries to talk to me. Maddie says she is just shy and that if I want her for my friend, I will have to do all the work. Ruthie, look, I say again, beckoning with my finger. She likes to be called Pretty Feather when we are alone because it is her real name in English, but I do not want to be in trouble, so I call her by her new name and still hope she will want to be my friend. What? She asks as she leaves the book behind and steps to the window to stand beside me. Look, I say as I nod toward the ground below. A rabbit sits motionless on the grassy area beneath the window, its ears straight up, listening for danger. A rabbit, I say, pointing. A rabbit, she repeats, and then says a word I do not understand. I wonder if there are others, I add, searching left and right, even though I know she does not understand me. She imitates me, looking from left to right, shrugs her shoulders and returns to her bed and opens her book, which I know she cannot read. Where I come from, we have a dance we call the rabbit dance, I tell her, even though I know she does not understand all the words I say. I could tell you about it. She looks up, yet as soon as our eyes meet, her attention returns to her book. But I know she is pretending, only pretending to read because she does not ever turn a page. I do not read English as well as Maddie, but I know enough to turn the pages. Would you like to hear about it? Her eyes stare at the book lying in her lap, but she does not answer, and though I know she does not understand all my words, I wish she did, because I would like her to be my friend.